as soon as our chief guest for the session has arrived. We will be joined by him soon. May I request all those standing at the back to please come to this side. We have enough chairs available. Please settle down so that we can have the house in order before we bring in our chief guest. Thank you.
आज योग मानव मात्र को निरोग जीवन का विश्वास दे रहा है।
हर साल की तरह इस 21 जून को भी पूरा देश प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी के साथ अंतर्राष्ट्रीय योग दिवस मनाने के लिए सामूहिक योग प्रदर्शन में शामिल होगा। पिछले 10 वर्षों की तरह इस बार भी अंतर्राष्ट्रीय योग दिवस वैश्विक स्तर पर पहले से अधिक भागीदारी के साथ मनाया जाएगा, लेकिन इस बार का योग दिवस कुछ अलग ही होगा। एक नहीं, कई मायनों में अलग। 1000-10,000 नहीं, देश के 1 लाख स्थानों पर एक लय ताल में कॉमन योग प्रोटोकॉल करते लोगों का नजारा होगा। इस अद्भुत योग संगम को दुनिया देखेगी। दूर दराज के दुर्गम इलाकों, शहरों और गांवों से इस सर्व समावेशी योग की समन्वयकारी शक्ति की लहरें उठेंगी। आप भी परिवार और दोस्तों के साथ शामिल होकर इस आंदोलन को मजबूत करें। स्थानीय स्तर पर अपनी भागीदारी से अंतर्राष्ट्रीय योग दिवस 2025 को अब तक का सबसे बड़ा योग महोत्सव बना दीजिए। अपने पराक्रम से देश की धरती पर कर दिखाइए। एक पृथ्वी, एक स्वास्थ्य के लिए योग।
अच्छा, 1 मिनट रुको रुको, मिल गया 1 मिनट। I've kept it carefully on there. मिल गया। या बोला, वो सब बोल चुका है। अच्छा अच्छा, हाँ हाँ ओके। Ladies and gentlemen, whilst I have the time, I'd like to share with you that we are now on to our last 2 sessions, both promising to be very, interesting. One is with Mr. Bhupinder Yadav and one is with Mr. Piyush Goyal. Post that, You are all invited to join us in the Rani Bagh for drinks and dinner. We also have a live band playing, so I'm sure you would like to be a part of it after this long day of back-to-back sessions. We look forward to having you there and do join us. Uh, but for these two sessions, please remain seated in this hall. And as soon as we are done with both the sessions, we will step out into the lawn for our evening together. Thank you very much. It's in the Rani Bagh. Yeah, we look forward to having you there.
He said that I've been given gentle reminders to stop the this thing has stopped many questions. Should have let him talk about that. Yeah, yeah, of course. Yes, it was very good. PD was also, actually, yeah, yeah. First Ankush came, then Nirja was doing certain things from there.
Certain things. Even after that, Ankur at the end was doing this.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Ninja came and said, thank you. They blame it all on us in front of the whole audience. They're telling me to stop. I have to stop. Sometimes they become so bad. I used to start on the road and reach the stage to tell them to stop. Finally, this is the third time she has come. I think we'll have to stop. So I told her, हमें बदनाम हो रहे हैं, कोई बात नहीं, धन्यवाद.
Yeah, but वो तो आ गया था ना, that minister was already there, right?
Any session.
Then you have Piyush Goyal coming. When Piyush Goyal comes, then 6:30.
And I thought they would come at 6:15. John had to be
I think the door.
make them stop. पीडी मस्ट बी थिंकिंग कि मुझे नच कर करके इन्होंने बंद करना दिया. अच्छा इज अबाउट अमिताभ इज गुड. They're sitting inside and chatting with you.
The audience is getting
This is
good.
their still.
But that minister is not yet come.
Announced drinks and dinner.
But ये नहीं है ना, the minister hasn't come as yet.
No, it's about they're outside. Bhupinder comes early because he says that, the traffic is so unpredictable. मैं थोड़ा जल्दी निकल जाता हूँ.
अरे फिल्म्स टुमारो इज नो बिकॉज वो सुमा ने लिखा हुआ था ना कि फर्स्ट डे पे एक्सेस पे या सेकंड डे पे भी या सेकंड डे के मिनिस्टर्स के लिए Rajendra Singh Shekhawat, that is the tourism minister, and there is Mansukh Pandey.
Ladies and gentlemen, our chief guest for this session has arrived. Request all of you at the back to please settle down. He will be joining us soon. नहीं he's coming for the photos के लिए He'll only start the film when he starts walking. Rajesh?
Ladies and gentlemen, we are privileged to welcome a statesman whose leadership is guiding India's environmental stewardship and climate action with deep conviction and global foresight. Shri Bhupender Yadav, Honorable Union Minister of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. The Honorable Minister has played a pivotal role in advancing India's climate commitments, anchored in equity, responsibility and sustainability. Under his guidance, India's environmental agenda has moved forward with clear direction, strengthening the balance between economic development and ecological preservation. As we gather for this special plenary, we are honored to welcome a leader whose work is shaping India's long-term environmental legacy. Ladies and gentlemen, please join us in extending a warm and respectful welcome to Shri Bhupender Yadav, Honorable Union Minister of Environment, Forest and Climate Change.
Did he say welcome? Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming our chief guest for this session, Shri Bhupinder Yadav, Minister for Environment, Forest and Climate Change, Government of India. Without further ado, may I invite Mr. Chandrajit Banerjee, Director General, Confederation of Indian Industry, to give the opening remarks.
Good evening once again, ladies and gentlemen, and it's my pleasure and honor to welcome Shri Bhupendra Yadavji, the Honorable Minister for Environment, Forest and Climate Change, to this special plenary session. Ladies and gentlemen, as you know, the Honorable Minister has been leading charge on many issues with regards to environment and climate change, and I must wanted to mention that under his guidance and his leadership, we have seen India's comprehensive and multifaceted climate policy, balancing economic development of ours with the entire space of environmental sustainability. And it's really become today a template of for many developing nations and emerging economies. He's been guiding a force in terms of our journey towards net zero, and many areas like waste management efforts, biodiversity, through strategic policy actions. In his way, he has consulted and given space to industry for discussions. I only wanted to request the Honorable Minister, because he speaks on subjects which are close to his heart. And this theme, sir, today is building trust, as you have seen, sir. And climate, environment, sustainability has a huge relationship with building trust. So from you, it would be great to understand Indian industry's role in this space. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Shri Bhupendra Yadav ji.
Mr. Sanjeev Puri, President CII, Mr. Chandrajit Banerjee, DG CII, ladies and gentlemen, good evening to one and all. I am delighted to note that CII annual session theme this year is a topic close to everyone's mind right now, building trust. But before I begin, I would like to congratulate all of you for India becoming the world's fourth largest economy. Today, we stand ahead of Japan, United Kingdom, and even France. We are also world's fastest growing economy. If there is one thing which has made this possible, it is the unwavering trust of 140 crore Indians in the India story. Many wonder, what is the India story? The India story is the story of tradition meeting transformation. It is a story of democracy walking alongside development. It is a story of kindness towards friends, but use of might against enemies. It is a story of ensuring that water and blood do not flow together. The India story is the story of being compassionate towards all, but assertive and forceful to those who want to harm Bharat. Because the India story is about always keeping India first. Friends, most of you as leaders of the business world traveling abroad, I can say it without doubt that you must have felt a rising Indian clout over the last decade. Indian businesses too are seen with respect. So I'm delighted that CII's annual Business Summit 2025 is focused on building trust, India first. Stephen Covey, in his book The Speed of Trust, highlight how trust leads to faster and better results for organizations. Business author Tom Peters very rightly says, technique and technology are important, but adding trust is the issue of the decade. Today we are very fortunate is being led by our Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji, who has made environmental protection a participative process. Mission Life launched by Honorable Prime Minister Shri Modi ji is about communities, business, individuals, the young and the old coming together to save planet Earth. Led by Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji, our policy in climate action is based on principle of building trust by ensuring India first. So when you ask me what is India's climate policy architecture, I say it is about securing the right of 140 crore citizens to clean energy. It is also about keeping our skies blue and our oceans clean. The pathway for India as an emerging economy is about building a robust economy which is in sync with ecology. Ladies and gentlemen, for any country's economic and social progress and effective governance, trust is central. The people trust the government to keep the borders secure, achieve economic stability, maintain social harmony, and lead the country towards a sustainable future. Building trust is driving force behind our bold multilateral commitments, deepening bilateral engagements. In a world that's surrounded by disruptive waves of geopolitics, India remains the most trusted partner for the global world due to its political stability, visionary leadership, cultural values, and unwavering commitment for a sustainable world. As a land of development oriented nature worshippers, India's role as an actor in the global climate arena and as the voice of the global south is supported by initiatives under three interlinked drivers. First, self reliant circular economy. Second, protecting natural ecosystems and strengthening resilience. Third, promoting adaptation. India's unique climate policy architecture successfully balances developmental imperatives with ambitious climate goals. By sharing with other emerging economic countries this model of growth that's backed by policy frameworks, institutional innovations, and regulatory approaches, India can continue to be the trusted partner and at the same time lead the emerging economies seeking to align growth with climate resilience. Members of the August gathering, today I will like to briefly discuss these three drivers and how they are shaping India's trustworthiness. The first pillar, I will like to talk about the development of a self-reliant circular economy. The current global market conditions, limited natural resources, waste accumulations, and environmental damage associated with it have necessitated the transition of the existing industrial ecosystem from a linear model to self-reliant circular economy model that is reliable, resilient, and is known for its high quality global manufacturing ecosystem. To expedite the integration of circularity, government has notified target for recycling and use of recycled content under the extended producer responsibility guideline for tire, battery, used oil, plastic, end of life vehicle, construction, demolition and e-waste. The ban of single-use plastics and the eco-mark scheme ensures effective reuse and recycling by building awareness about sustainable consumption, and production and use of alternative eco-friendly materials. By embedding principle of circularity across the value chain, India has moved the needle in not just resource efficiency, but also towards better management of waste, which is growing at a very fast pace. Every year, India generates around 62 million tons of waste. A major chunk of this comprises of plastic, electronic, and hazardous waste. By enabling producers to take responsibility for the end of life management of their products, government continues to support the transition of a circular economy. By 2050, India expects a circular economy sector to be worth $2 trillion. It will also lead to creation of 10 million green jobs. I will also like to share with you that the Environment Ministry recently facilitated the signing of MOU between Government of Telangana and the Council of Scientific and Industrial Research in December to develop a skilled workforce in recycling and waste management. I am pleased to inform you that industry also supports this transformation by channelizing investment in high quality recycling equipment that can support closed loop recycling. Between 2022 and 2024, India's recycling sector saw investment to the tune of 10,000 crore. The policy reforms and multi-stakeholder collaboration have also led to reduced import dependencies. Friends, I believe a strong voluntary business action is needed to complement the policy reforms in India's pursuit for a circular, self-reliant economy. For countries still sitting on the fence, these robust interventions present a compelling case to relook their linear production models, optimize available resources, and change the way waste is viewed. I invite you all to join the Resource Efficiency and Circular Economy Industry Coalition launched under India's G20 presidency as a collaborative platform to facilitate knowledge sharing, best practices sharing, and sustainable practice among the participating industries. Ladies and gentlemen, the second enabler I will like to talk about is India's focused approach toward environmental sustainability and protection of the natural ecosystems. I will once again like to put emphasis on mission life. According to the Economic Survey 24-25, estimate mission life related activities can lead up to saving of nearly 440 US dollar billion globally by 2030. I am happy to share with you that under this community-led global initiative, India has planted 109 crore saplings between June 2024 and January 2025 under the nationwide campaign Ek Ped Maa Ke Naam. The introduction of green credit rules under Mission Life is another innovative initiative that is built around incentivizing voluntary action toward environmental conservation. The third and perhaps the most important factor that is contributing to India's growing role and recognition in the global sustainability space is its action toward building resilience and promoting adaptation. When we talk about global climate commitments, it is important to understand that India believes and advocates for the principle of equity and common but differentiated responsibilities and respective capabilities. India realizes that the emerging countries' climate considerations can cost them precious resources, slow their socio-economic growth aspiration, and affect livelihood opportunities. As a major climate policy contributor and as the voice of Global South, India continues to advocate for CBDR on multilateral forums. With increasing occurrences, intensity and duration of extreme weather hazards such as heat waves, heavy rainfall events, and cyclones, India, like most countries, is also facing increasing vulnerabilities due to climate risk. India's, high, India's heightened proximity to the challenges emerging from climate change can be ascertained by the fact that India ranks 6th in global climate risk index in 2025. To strengthen effort to address climate change related risks and build India's climate resilience, the government recently released draft framework of the climate finance taxonomy. By detailing the methodology for classifying activities, projects and measures under adaptation and mitigation, the taxonomy will contribute to India's climate commitment, strengthen its resilience building effort and facilitate investment in adaptation solutions and technologies that reduce the risk of adverse impact of climate change. In a future step towards strengthening adaptation, the government has embarked on a journey to create an inclusive roadmap through the development of the first national adaptation plan to be submitted to the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change in a few months. It is based on the pillars of enhancing adaptive capacity, strengthening knowledge system, and reducing exposure to climate risk. Ladies and gentlemen, the challenges facing us are huge, but our resolve to win them is bigger. I firmly believe we can do it quicker and better by coming together because coming together is beginning and working together is success. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Honorable Minister Shri Bhupender Yadav ji, thank you very much for this very insightful session. I request all of you to join me in thanking the Honorable Minister for this. Thank you, sir, for the valuable insights on India's climate policy design and how it can assist developing countries in laying brickwork for their own development pathways. I think in your address, you shared the groundwork on the common but differentiated responsibilities, a principle so very important to the world, and India has provided leadership to the global south. And it's been a guiding principle. And I may also add, Honorable Minister, that during the B20 here on the group in ESG, we also had recommended ESG frameworks that cognize for global south and not be orchestrated on Western models, which do not cognize for realities here. Honorable Minister, you stated that India's climate policy is being led by an enabling ecosystem built on reforms, industry actions, and community participation under the three interconnected pillars of self-reliant circular economy, protection of natural ecosystems, strengthening resilience, and advancing adaptation. Climate change is a very complex subject, but you have brilliantly captured it in the three pillars. And when I think about it deeply, I think you have touched every element of what is required to be done. And all of these efforts are being followed through by several progressive policy measures, and you outlined some of them. I think they're also orchestrated in a fashion that is enabling the industry to prepare for it. They're all coming in a graded fashion, and we very much appreciate that and look forward to more such guidelines as we go forward. CII is very much cognizant of the issues of sustainability, the challenges of climate change, and that forms a very big element of the work that CII does. In fact, one very important pillar of this business summit is also sustainability. And CII has been accelerating this work. In fact, we have several centers of excellence, the green building, the water center of excellence on sustainable development. All of this focus on advocacy, building capacity, and also mobilizing industry action. So you may recall that in September last year, you had unveiled the CII report on building climate resilience of Indian industry. It gives me great pleasure to inform you that the physical climate risk assessment framework, an outcome of this report, is already in pilot stage in two disaster-prone districts of Andhra Pradesh. And we'll be happy once we do the pilot to share the learnings and then multiply certainly across industry. In an effort to better understand how we can integrate adaptation into national development plans and ensuring a systematic and long-term approach towards the well-designed, defined resilience priorities, we eagerly look forward to the national adaptation plan that you spoke about, a subject that is so very critical today. Before I conclude, Honorable Minister, I think you spoke about life today, and I recollect very much your words, which were very simple and very powerful when you advocated for mindful consumption and not mindless utilization. I think this is a very important behavior change that is required because sustainability cannot happen without sustainable consumption. And these simple words have remained with me since the time you mentioned it in our summit. And once again, Honorable Minister, thank you for your presence. Thank you for explaining to us the architecture of India's climate policy and the systematic way that this is being progressed. And I'd like to assure you that the Indian industry is very much committed to sustainability, and we look for your guidance and would like to partner you in this whole journey. Thank you very much, Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Puri. May I invite President CII to kindly hand over a token of appreciation to the Honorable Minister. नहीं निकले अभी मनोज ने कहा निकले तो फोन कैसे ऐसे कुछ नहीं दे लगी अंदाजा मतलब वैसे भी अंदाज नहीं बता सकते लेकिन अभी रुक जाओ नहीं तुम सबको बता दिया मैंने दिन से दिन में ओके Our next session, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to request you all to remain seated whilst you have your seats, because I'm sure in the next session we'll have a house full. So, our next session, our chief guest is Mr. Piyush Goyal, Honorable Minister of Commerce and Industry, Government of India. And the session is a special plenary on India at 2047, accelerating growth through trade, resilience, innovation, and inclusion. We will start as soon as he arrives. I request all those standing at the back to please come and sit.